Well, talks aimed at securing a ceasefire and the release of hostages in Gaza appear to be deadlocked again. Media reports in Israel say Hamas is refusing to provide a list of hostages who are still alive. One of many people who's desperate for such information is the father of 29-year-old Arbel Yehoud. Palestinian militants seized her along with her boyfriend on October 7th, 2023. DW's Jan-Philipp Schultz reports from Jerusalem.
Yehoud has been waiting for 14 months to hold his daughter in his arms again. Arbel has already spent one birthday held hostage in Gaza. He does not want her to spend another in captivity.
Don't wait even one day. Every day that passed, one more hostages will die. One more hostages will be tortured. So what you are waiting for? What you are waiting for?
On October 7th, 2023, terrorists raided Arbel's hometown of Nir Oz and devastated the kibbutz. They then kidnapped Arbel along with her partner and around 80 other residents. Before her abduction, Arbel always tried to be there for everyone, her father says. He hopes that this also helps her in captivity.
The terrorists, maybe they can see the personality of her, the pure personality of her, that she have a pure heart, you know, she love everybody, she accept everybody. So I hope that they don't torture her, I hope.
In recent weeks, the hostage negotiations have intensified again, also due to pressure from many hostages' families. Security expert Noam Tibon says an agreement is the only chance to save their lives.
Jewish people. All the military effort, we killed more hostages than we brought back. The only real option to bring them all is a hostage deal, and this is what we should know right now.
Arbel Yehoud is also a German citizen, her father says. She is the great-granddaughter of a painter from Hamburg. Yechti has met many German politicians, but is disappointed by their lack of action.
I need them to force more the government in Israel, not just for our relatives, not just for the hostages, also for the people in Gaza. People, not terrorists, but people, they've been killed. It's broken our heart, you know? They are people like us.
Arbel's grandmother Hannah is also helping with the campaign for Arbel's release. Hannah was born shortly before the Holocaust. Perhaps, the family hopes, Germany can help save her granddaughter's life 2 generations later.
And with me in the studio for more, we have DW's Middle East analyst, Shani Rosanes. Shani, good to see you again. Negotiations to secure a ceasefire and also to get hostages back from Gaza appear to be deadlocked at this point. Is there any indication that they may be close to reaching a deal this year in 2025?
Well, unfortunately not. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, we were here in the studio talking about the optimism in the air, and so shortly after, it seems like both sides are retrieving to their old positions. Netanyahu keeps insisting he wants to renew the war once this ceasefire is over. Hamas says we're not going to negotiate as long as we have a guarantee that this war come to an end. And for Hamas, the way they see it, the only reason for them to release all hostages would be for securing an end to the war. As long as there's ability for them to use, sort of in a way, the cards that they have in the way they see the hostages, in leveraging their power on Israel, they're not going to let go of the last of the hostages. And this is exactly where we're at for back and forth for a very, very long time now. No real progress. The hope was that Trump and his people that are already inserted into some of the talks would put enough pressure on both sides to maybe shake things up, but we see this is still the struggle. And if Biden hoped that he would manage to solve this crisis before his last day in the White House, it seems to be very unlikely.
And Donald Trump, of course, set to take office at the end of this month already. He's spoken about his peace plan for the conflict. He's called it something that will be the deal of the century. What's your assessment of his promises here?
Well, no doubt he wants to leave his mark. by using the Middle East. He has very strong ties with the Saudis, and they are also a key component to the reconstruction of Gaza. If and when this one day happens, they're also very influential, can be very influential for Lebanon and Syria and so on. And he is very strongly connected with them. So this is something that helps him, put more power and pressure on Israel, and at the same time also gives practical tools on how to solve these problems. At the same time, we know that the Saudis are not too keen on getting too deep into the Middle East if they don't know for a fact that they can succeed, if they don't know for a fact Israel is willing to guarantee some sort of statehood for the Palestinian or a path to a state at minimum. And this is something that Netanyahu, in his political current compilation, is sort of like deadlocked into the, in debt to the extreme right portions of his coalition, is very, very much in hard position to guarantee that or to even promise that or talk about that. So this deadlock, it's quite interesting to see if Trump will be able to sort of bring a breakthrough with all his might and his pressure. And he doesn't want to see the U.S. get more involved in war on the ground. He wants solutions. And at a certain point, somebody's going to have to break. It's not quite clear if that's going to eventually be Netanyahu or not. Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead also to the Trump administration and how you think Iran might respond to him coming into office, how could this potentially shape the power dynamics in the region?
Oh, that's definitely a very important issue. The way Israelis see it, and a lot of the hawkish members of Trump's immediate circle see the same. They see Iran as sort of the head of the octopus, sort of the mastermind behind what we're seeing in the Middle East. And they would like to crack that problem. They would like to put more pressure on Iran and maybe even, if Netanyahu gets his way, be directly involved in attacks on Iran, on its nuclear facility. That's been something that Netanyahu has been trying to get the Americans to be part of for the longest time. He might finally achieve that with Trump. But we also need to keep in mind, Trump is solutions-driven. He doesn't want to see America dragged into another war. He wants to see things solved the fastest and most, practical way possible. So it could be that eventually, if the Iranians, and we've been seeing calls in Iran for negotiations with the West, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate, it could be that he will opt for that, and then he might be, Netanyahu and Trump might be on a clashing course.
All right, well, time will tell. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. That is Shani Rosanis.
You're welcome.